Do you ever have that feeling when you're sprinting through your to do list, tackling tasks left and right, fueled by that adrenaline rush of productivity? But then, just around the corner, you find yourself facing a challenge that requires more than just a quick fix or a quick burst of effort. It demands endurance, patience, and a whole different mindset. Today, we're going to be talking about the intriguing battle between the sprint and marathon mindsets. You felt that rush of the sprint, right? The need to meet deadlines and seize opportunities. But have you ever paused to consider the power of the marathon? The slow and steady approach that shapes careers, businesses, crafts, masterpieces, and builds lasting success? Today's discussion is going to hit close to home for many of us. So let's dive in. Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, a show that explores how to upgrade your lifestyle through life lessons, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Here's your hostess, SaCola Lehr. So let's clarify these two mindsets. The sprint mindset is all about the short burst of intense effort. It's about focusing on immediate goals and pushing through challenges with a sense of urgency. While on the other hand, the marathon mindset involves pacing oneself, focusing on the long term journey and cultivating patience and endurance. The sprint mindset can be incredibly effective in situations where a quick response or rapid progress is required. Think of it as a powerful tool in your arsenal. When facing tight deadlines and immediate opportunities or solving urgent problems, it enables us to channel our energy into short bursts of focused effort, often yielding tangible results in a short amount of time. While on the other hand, the marathon mindset encourages us to pace ourselves and maintain a steady course over an extended period. It's about recognizing that some goals take time to achieve and that consistency and resilience are key. This mindset is excellent for projects that require gradual progress, skill development, and cultivating lasting habits. It also helps in avoiding burnout and maintaining a healthy work life balance. So you just have to decide what's more important to you: your time, money, or your efforts. But now, friends, let's think about this. Can we effectively switch between the sprint and marathon mindsets based on different situations? The answer is yes, but the key is to be adaptable. In situations demanding quick action, a lot of times we are in this constant state of fight or flight mode. And if you're in real estate or you're in a high pressure job or business, you understand sometimes you don't have time to wait. You have to embrace the sprint mindset by breaking down tasks into manageable steps, setting clear deadlines, and eliminating distractions. And once the urgency passes, it's essential to transition back to the marathon mindset. And this involves setting long term goals, practicing patience, and allowing time to reflect and make room and time for improvement. Are there some potential pitfalls for solely relying on the sprint or marathon approach? Well, if you think about it, relying solely on the sprint mindset, again, you're in a constant state of flight or fight, and that can lead to burnout and a lack of sustainable progress. It might also result in a cycle of intense effort followed by exhaustion, ultimately hampering overall productivity. And guys, have you ever been there? I'm sure you have. I've been there lots of times where I've given my all. I'm constantly on the go because I have no other choice but to be on the go. And when it's done, I'm completely drained. I'm completely exhausted. And I'm sure you felt that way too. However, on the other hand, If you're just exclusively adopting the marathon mindset, you might miss some opportunities. And because that's where some situations may need or require swift action. You know how it is if you're learning a skill or you're learning a business, and I'm guilty of this too. I want to know as much as I can. And even in my business, as a realtor, I want to know as much as I can. I want to bring my A game in everything I do, right? Is that realistic? Is that realistic thinking? No, it's not. I can do my best in the situation in the time that it presents itself. But if I'm always in the room studying, reflecting, am I taking action? And sometimes I'm missing out on opportunities because, hey, I want to be that student. And there's nothing wrong with being a lifelong learner. But at the same time, my mother has an expression: if you study long, you study wrong. So, is there a way that we can strike a happy balance? So, with the marathon mindset, it is good to look at the overall thing, especially if you're starting out in business, especially particularly in real estate. But this can be great for any goal that you may have, whether it's for a career, for life, for business. Having a marathon mindset is a great way of approaching goals and challenges and tasks that focus on the long term. Because again, this is going to include patience, persistence, and endurance. And just like a marathon race, which requires participants to pace themselves over a long distance, the marathon mindset emphasizes consistent effort and the understanding that significant achievements often take time to materialize. So, for my people who think that starting a business and you hear these wonderful success stories and people who have just flourished overnight, let me tell you, the probability of everyone doing that and starting out at the same time and having the same amount of results, even if you do the same things, just remember that your business, how you are as a person, should be tailored, suited to you. Not everyone is going to get the same identical results. So, this is again where the persistence and patience and endurance comes in. So, let's talk about some key characteristics of the marathon mindset. One is long term goals. Having long term goals with a marathon mindset sets your sights on objectives that may take months or even years to accomplish. You recognize that while worthwhile achievements require ongoing commitment and dedication. Step two, consistency. You just heard me say that word. So instead of relying on intense bursts of effort, we as budding entrepreneurs, business owners, or current business owners, individuals with a marathon mindset prioritize steady and sustained progress. We understand that progress is made through consistent actions and small steps of improvement. Three, patience. A marathon mindset involves accepting that results may not be immediate. They're not going to happen overnight, but we are prepared to weather setbacks and delays, understanding that success requires resilience and the ability to keep going despite challenges. And we learn from our failures and mistakes. Four, endurance. Just as I mentioned with marathon runners, you build physical and mental stamina. So embracing the marathon mindset, we are cultivating endurance. We are willing to navigate through the periods of uncertainty and discomfort. And guys, I get it. Those in the meantime moments, they do get uncomfortable. But we're trusting the process, we're trusting our efforts that they will eventually pay off. But we also have to put in the work. Five, adaptability. While focused on the long term, if we keep a marathon mindset, we have to remain adaptable. Yes, consistency is key, but we also have to be adaptable. We are open to adjusting our strategies and plans as circumstances change. We need to be flexible, ensuring that, yes, we are staying track to reach our goals, but sometimes there may be a little twist and turn here and there. Now, let's talk about work life balance. Now, this is an ongoing debate. Can you really have work life balance? Well, this is where the marathon mindset comes into play because it does help promote a healthier work life balance by avoiding those pitfalls of burnout, overexertion, and by allowing us to maintain our energy and enthusiasm for the long haul. And the final step is skill development. The marathon mindset encourages us to build our skills, to allow room for personal growth over time. And if we recognize that honing our abilities takes ongoing practice and learning that leads to mastery over the course of the journey, and we're celebrating the journey, not the end destination. Because if we take that focus and shift it from celebrating our journey and not just focusing on the end destination, we're not as likely to become disappointed or discouraged. Yes, we're going to have setbacks. That is a part of life. But just remember to remain consistent, adaptable, flexible. Develop your skills. So, in summary, the marathon mindset you can approach it with life's challenges with a patient and persistent attitude. And it encourages us to focus on the journey as much as the destination and to recognize that success is a culmination of consistent effort, adaptability, and perseverance. So here's some takeaways for you today. And this is how I want you to integrate both of the mindsets into your life. First, assess the situation. Determine whether it calls for a sprint or marathon approach. Second, set clear goals and timelines. Is this something that you can achieve within 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months? Establish what needs to be achieved in the short term and what you're aiming for in the long run. Finally, practice self awareness. Listen to your body. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it might be time to shift gears. So, I hope you've gained some valuable insights into the sprint versus marathon mindset debate. However, remember that both mindsets do have their place, and knowing when to use each of them can make a world of difference in your personal and professional journey. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and you also leave me a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with your friends and colleagues. Until next time, keep sprinting when needed and marathoning when necessary. And always remember that just as a runner combines bursts of speed with steady endurance to conquer a marathon, we can also harness the power of both mindsets. It's all about understanding when to sprint with intensity and when to pace yourself for the long haul. I hope you found today's discussion enlightening as I did. Make sure, again, to hit that subscribe button and never miss an episode of the Work It, Live It, Own It podcast. And don't forget to work it, live it, own it in your everyday lives. Take care.